In today's video, we'll break down who introverts, extroverts, and ambiverts are. Introvert. A definition: an individual who draws energy from their inner world, thoughts, feelings, ideas, and prefers calm, less stimulating environments. Introverts often recharge by spending time alone or in small groups and can feel drained after prolonged social interaction. They tend to be deep thinkers, attentive to details, and prefer quality over quantity in their social connections. A key traits: reserved, thoughtful, needs solitude for replenishment, prefers deep conversations over superficial ones, prone to self-reflection. Extrovert. A definition: an individual who draws energy from the external world, especially from social interaction. Extroverts are energized by being around people, engaging in activities, and communicating. They are typically open, outgoing, energetic, and action-oriented. Her key traits: sociable, energetic in social situations, prefers a wide range of acquaintances, takes initiative, prone to outward expression of emotions. Ambivert. A definition: an individual who exhibits characteristics of both introverts and extroverts. Ambiverts can feel comfortable both in social situations and in solitude, and their behavior often depends on the specific situation or mood. They are capable of adapting to various circumstances and can be effective both as listeners and as conversationalists. Her key traits: flexible in social behavior, able to enjoy both solitude and social interaction, skilled at finding a balance between the need for external stimulation and inner peace, often considered the most balanced personality type. Now let's look at jobs that are more suitable for introverts. Introverts often thrive in professions that allow them to work independently, require deep concentration, analytical thinking, and do not involve constant, intense social interaction. Here are several fields and specific professions that can be ideal for introverts. 1. Technology and IT. A programmer or developer. Work is often individual, requiring logical thinking, problem solving, and deep concentration. Interaction is primarily with a small team. A data analyst, a scientist, collecting, analyzing, and interpreting large volumes of data, requires attention to detail and analytical skills. A cybersecurity specialist, protecting information systems. Work often involves research, analysis, and solving complex technical problems. A web designer, UX designer, creating user interfaces and websites, requires creativity, attention to detail, and the ability to work with visual elements. 2. Arts and creative fields. A writer, editor, proofreader. Work is mostly individual, requiring creative thinking, attention to language, and detail. A graphic designer, illustrator, creating visual content, requires artistic taste and the ability to work independently. A musician, composer. Much of the work involves practicing, creating, and arranging music in solitude. A photographer, especially studio or landscape, can work independently, focusing on composition and light. 3. Science and research. A scientist or researcher, lab work, data analysis, writing papers, requires deep concentration and patience. A librarian, archivist, working with information, cataloging, research. A calm environment with minimal intense interaction. A museum worker or restorer, working with artifacts, studying and restoring them. 4. Analytics and finance. Or accountant or auditor, working with numbers, reports, documentation, requires precision and attention to detail. A financial analyst, analyzing markets, investments, often individual work with data. A statistician, collecting, analyzing, and interpreting statistical data. 5. Crafts and specialized skills. A jeweler, watchmaker, precise, meticulous work, requiring high concentration. A tailor, fashion designer, especially during the creation and sewing stages, working with materials, creating clothing. A translator, written working with texts, requiring linguistic skills and attentiveness. 6. Education, with caveats. A teacher, instructor, especially in small groups or one-on-one. While teaching requires interaction, many introverts find satisfaction in imparting knowledge and can excel in a mentoring role, especially if they have time for preparation and recovery. A tutor, one-on-one instruction, where interaction is deeper but less broad. What an introvert should consider when choosing a profession or opportunity for deep concentration. Introverts often excel at tasks requiring sustained attention and focus and minimal interruptions. Work where one can immerse themselves in a task without frequent distractions. A preference for written communication, if there's an option to communicate via email or chat instead of constant meetings. That can be a plus. A time for recovery. It's important that The job allows sufficient time for solitude. After social contact, or working with data or objects, not just people, many introverts feel more comfortable interacting with information, systems, or things. Of course, these are just general recommendations. Every introvert is unique, and the most important thing is to find what brings satisfaction and aligns with personal strengths and interests. Now let's look at jobs that are more suitable for extroverts. Why this suits extroverts. Jobs with a high level of communication and interaction give them energy and motivation. Skills in public speaking, persuasion, relationship building, and teamwork are important. Fields and professions. Sales and marketing. Salesperson, sales manager, brand manager, marketer. Why? Constant negotiations, presentations, building contacts. Useful skills, persuasion, client, listening, persistence, PR, communications and public relations, PR manager, press secretary, external communications specialist. Why? Lots of interaction with journalists, event organization, public statements. Useful skills, presentation, press, release writing, crisis communication, customer support and service, customer account manager, support, representative, account manager. Why? Daily contact with people, resolving requests, building long-term relationships. Useful skills, empathy, patience, stress, resistance, hospitality and tourism, hotel manager, tour guide, restaurateur, event manager. Why? Work in a lively, dynamic environment, constant contact with different people. Useful skills, organizational ability, multitasking, education and training, teacher, especially in large classes, corporate trainer, facilitator. Why? Public speaking, interactive group, work, mentoring. Useful skills, structuring material, engaging an audience, media, show business and creative industries, journalist, TV or radio host, actor, director, event producer. Why? Publicity, performances, teamwork and audience interaction. Useful skills, charisma, creativity, on-camera presentation skills, HR and recruiting, recruiter, HR business partner, onboarding specialist. Why? Interviews, talent search, employee support, lots of communication. Useful skills, people assessment, interviewing, negotiation, politics and public affairs, politician, public figure, activist, lobbyist. Why? Public speaking, meetings with people, influencing society. Useful skills, rhetoric, agenda setting, networking, entrepreneurship and management, project manager, startup founder, CEO, partnership manager. Why? Negotiations with partners, team, management, building networks. Useful skills, leadership, decision-making, communication, law, litigation, lawyer, especially courtroom, prosecutor. Why? Courtroom appearances, cross-examination, persuading audiences or juries. Useful skills, argumentation, stress, management, public speaking, real estate agent, commercial property, consultant. Why? Client meetings, negotiations, active networking. Useful skills, sales, property, presentation, handling objections. Tips for choosing and development. Try the profession in practice, internships, volunteering, part-time projects. Develop public speaking, networking, and emotional intelligence skills. Pay attention to the work environment. Open offices and client-facing roles suit extroverts more than monotonous desk work. If you are an extrovert but value solitude, look for roles that combine external activity with periods of focused work, project manager, trainer, partnership manager. On your resume and in interviews, emphasize communicative achievements, successful negotiations, organized events, sales growth, etc. Now let's look at jobs that are more suitable for ambivert. Jobs for ambiverts, the art of balance. Ambiverts, individuals who combine traits of both introverts and extroverts, possess a unique advantage in the job market because they can adapt to various social demands. They thrive in professions that require both deep concentration and analysis, as well as active communication and relationship building. The ideal job for an ambivert is one that offers a balance between individual work and team interaction. 1. Professions requiring flexibility and adaptation. Ambiverts excel in roles where they need to switch between different modes of operation. A project manager requires deep planning and organization, the introverted part, and constant communication with the team, clients, and stakeholders, the extroverted part. A business analyst, data analysis and report writing, introverted work, alternates with conducting interviews and giving presentations to management, extroverted work. A HR specialist, especially in learning and development, designing training programs and strategies, individual work, and conducting workshops or seminars, public work. A management consultant, researching and analyzing client problems alone or in a small team, followed by presenting and selling solutions to the client. 2. Professions involving mentorship and mediation. Ambiverts make excellent mediators because they know how to listen, like introverts, and communicate effectively, like extroverts. A team leader or supervisor, managing a small group, where one must be able to give clear instructions, extrovert, and listen to employees' personal concerns, introvert. A university professor or lecturer, giving lectures, and leading seminars, extrovert, combined with preparing materials, grading papers, and conducting academic research, introvert. A mediator and negotiator, the ability to remain calm and analyze the situation, while actively managing the dialogue between conflicting parties. 3. Sales and service professions. With a caveat, unlike pure extroverts, ambiverts do not thrive in aggressive sales environments. They are better suited for work based on trust and long-term relationships. A account manager, key account management, focuses on maintaining and developing existing relationships rather than cold calling, requires a deep understanding of client needs, introvert, and active interaction, extrovert. A public relations specialist, PR, writing, press releases and strategies, introvert, combined with active communication with journalists and organizing events, extrovert. A real estate agent, residential, conducting showings and negotiations, extrovert, and meticulous work with documents and market analysis, introvert. The ambivert's main advantage. Ambiverts are often the most successful in sales and management because they know when to talk and when to listen. They do not pressure the interlocutor, as extroverts sometimes do, and do not withdraw completely, as introverts might. They are skilled at reading the audience and adjusting their communication style. Key factors for an ambivert when choosing a job. 1. Task variety. The job should include time for solitude, analysis, writing, planning, and time for interaction, meetings, presentations. 2. Control over schedule. The ability to independently plan how much time is dedicated to communication and how much to focused work. 3. Deep interaction. A preference for quality, meaningful conversations over superficial networking. So, we've established that understanding your personality type is the first step toward a more conscious life. Remember, there is no right or wrong type. Your strength lies in your unique balance. If you enjoyed this deep dive into personality psychology, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next analyses. We regularly release new content that will help you with self-development. Now it's your turn. Write in the comments, which personality type do you consider your primary one? Introvert, extrovert, or ambivert? And how does it affect your work or relationships? See you in the next videos. Bye.